We've hit the end of the season, and as you guys can likely imagine, we were 6-10, which means that we did not make the playoffs. So your MVP vote is Jared Goff, taking that home for the Rams. Coach of the year goes to Dan Quinn. They were 13-3, so he absolutely deserves it. Best record in the NFL. In the AFC, you see Le'Veon Bell take home the Offensive Player of the Year. In the NFC, you see Aaron Rodgers as well. For Defensive Player of the Year in the AFC, you see Von Miller take that home. And in the NFC, it's Bobby Wagner of Seattle. Offensive Rookie of the Year, unfortunately, goes to Josh Allen of the Bills, with Sam Darnold finishing second. But you know what they say, there's no real prize for second place. And in the NFC, surprise, surprise, it is Saquon Barkley of the New York Giants. Defensive Rookie of the Year in the AFC goes to Rashaan Evans of the Titans, and in the NFC, it is Roquan Smith of the Chicago Bears. He ended his holdout long enough to make sure that he came in and won Rookie of the Year. To quickly recap the final standings in the NFL, Falcons again, best record in the NFL. A whole lot of teams out here with an 11-5 record. I mean, way too many in my opinion. Saints are 10-6, Texans, Chiefs, Cowboys are your 9, 10, and 11 teams. And then down here at the bottom, who do you see? The Jets at number 24. So we didn't get the best draft spot in my opinion. The Ravens lost 5 in a row, which puts them at a really bad spot. But your worst record in the NFL ends up being the Bengals. Second pick will be the Giants, and third pick will be the Buffalo Bills. To run down our team stats for the year, you can see Sam Darnold almost threw for 3,500 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, 19 interceptions. You typically see that a lot, a high interception ratio for a rookie quarterback, but we're hoping he can curb that going into season number 2. On the ground, Joe Mixon, when he was healthy, especially in the second half of the season, was really good. 600 yards in the ground, 3 touchdowns, and 1 fumble. We also see Thomas Rawls go for about 200 yards with 2 touchdowns. Elijah McGuire had bursts where he was pretty solid with 1 touchdown and 150 plus yards. Sam Darnold, though, 10 fumbles. That's too many, Sam. We got to work on that a whole lot. Robbie Anderson was without a doubt our number 1 receiver, but the biggest issue for him was that our quarterback play wasn't really up to par for a lot of the season. So he had just under 1,000 receiving yards with 60 catches, 4 touchdowns on the year. Terrell Pryor stepped up big, 50 catches, 700 plus yards, 5 touchdowns. The biggest guy though that was a surprise to me was Quincy Enunwa, 34 catches, 500 plus yards, 6 touchdowns. That's impressive if you ask me. And Jeremy Maclin's numbers feel a little inflated because he had 1 touchdown going into the final game of the year where he caught 2, so we'll give him props, but I don't think he was the best fit overall for the team this season. Defensively, and I kind of talked about it a lot this season, Avery Williamson was absolutely incredible. 119 tackles in the year, 3.5 sacks, and 6 interceptions. By far, leaps and bounds our best defensive player on this year. Mo Claiborne stepped up as a corner. Keep in mind, he was a cornerback, 106 tackles. How crazy is that? 3 interceptions of his own. Darren Lee played well, 100 plus tackles for him. Jamal Adams had 77 with 3 interceptions and 1 sack. Marcus May played monster ball this year for us so far. 75 tackles, 3 of those for loss, no interceptions though. Jermaine Johnson, who was injured the vast majority of the season, had 2 picks of his own. We see David Bass with a pick of his own. Our sack leader was Leonard Williams, and I'm hoping that if we get some better play overall from our defensive tackle spot, that it'll make it a lot easier for both Leonard and Henry Anderson, assuming they're both there next season, to get more pressure on the quarterback. And if anyone in the world happens to care about kicking, then Cairo Santos, 21-24, 87 percentage, a 54-yard field goal behind him, but he did miss 2 extra points this year. And for those of you that care about the Super Bowl this season, unbelievable news as the Jags win their first Super Bowl in franchise history. They beat the Falcons, who were 13-3. Not just beat them, they beat them bad, 28-10. Huge news for Jacksonville fans. Now, a couple of contracts are coming up here, and honestly, I don't want Jeremy Maclin, so we're going to withdraw the offer from him. Now, I feel like Bashaud Breeland actually played pretty well, so we're going to try to re-sign him to a deal here. And it's 76 overall, still fairly young at 27 years of age. We're going to offer him a $2.2 million contract, $1.1 million signing bonus. Will he take it? The answer is yes. And the last guy I'm going to try to sign here is Terrell Basham, another guy that we picked up here in that 1-year deal. I'm going to offer him a little bit more money than what he's asking for because I think we need him to sign up for the team, and he decides to stay with the Jets. So now we're hitting free agency. I have about $28 million or so in cap space right now, and I see a couple of guys that I want to sign. So the first guy we're going to offer here is Trevor Williams. I gave him a little bit more than what market value was. We gave him $12.5 million over 3 years with a $7.2 million bonus. Again, both higher than what he asked for, and right now we sit in first place for his contract. So for Jack Mehorn, we are absolutely desperate. We need a right guard. We don't have one, and I need someone who can actually block, who's still fairly young. So we're going to offer him $5 million, almost a $1.5 million signing bonus. That gives us 102 points, and we still aren't even close to what the Dolphins are offering him. Now, a guy that I absolutely believe in is Dante Fowler Jr. And for some reason, Jacksonville let this man go into free agency. So we're going to say, look, Dante, $6 million, $40 million contract over 5 years. That should be enough to lock him in. Oh, but we're actually going to be in second place, so I got to increase that offer just a little bit. So we've increased Fowler's offer to just under $30 million, which I think is still pretty good value for him. But he's going to be cheaper still at that point than what Leonard Williams will cost me per year. And honestly, I could either move Leonard Williams to right end or Fowler to right end, or I could trade one of those guys. We'll see what we do. Our team is also in desperate need of a kicker, so Greg Zuerlein, a dude that can kick the ball really, really far, tons of leg power. We're going to sign him to a pretty lengthy deal. Hopefully he accepts. Another guy I have my eye on is Dante Moncrief, so we're going to offer him a 3-year, $21.9 million contract, exactly what a fair offer would be for him, and hopefully we'll see him accept. After the first week of free agency, we did sign Greg Zuerlein. We didn't get Dante Fowler Jr., and we didn't get Trevor Williams either. We do see Tyrann Mathieu go to the Cowboys, Trey Boston goes to Miami, Shazier also goes to Miami, so Miami's loading up on talent, and they get Danny Shelton too, so I mean, they're spending crazy money. Kansas City ends up getting Trevor Williams, and then down here, who we're going to see Dante Fowler Jr. go with? The Buffalo Bills. Now, I still want to lock in the corner here, and I think David Amerson could be a good fit, and as you guys can see, he is a scheme fit guy, so we're going to have to put up decent money, I think, to end up getting him, but it shouldn't have to be too much. So we're going to say $4.2 million at 1.85. Hopefully that's enough to beat out some of the other teams. That's going to be 104 points, which puts us just a little bit ahead of what Seattle and Houston offered him. And in case we don't get him, a guy I'm going to throw an offer out to as well is Jonathan Jones, 2 years, $6.64 million. No one else has actually offered him a contract, so we should be good to go for him. And lastly, we don't have a fullback, so I'm going to offer Jay Proche a contract as well because we need someone to block for Joe Mixon or whoever's the running back this year. Now we get more bad news as Dante Moncrief and Jay Proche both decline our offer. But we end up getting Jonathan Jones and David Amerson, so our cornerback spot at least is locked up now. Now we've struggled to sign some free agents, but a guy I'm going to take a flyer on and throw him a little bit less money than probably desired is Philip Dorsett. 3 years at a little over $10.5 million. We're hoping we can get him to be a dynamic punt returner and playmaker for our team. It is time for the NFL draft. We've been waiting all season long. I feel like I have a good opportunity here to see this team improve. But the question is, who are the Bengals going to take #1 overall? And the Bengals take Ed Oliver with the Giants on the clock. Now let's go ahead and skip ahead to where we are and see just who's available for us. So there looks to be a little bit of a glitch where it shows a lot of these guys as undrafted talent, which I think that's a little crazy, but let's see who's available on the board for us. Nick Bosa, Rashawn Gary, both are there. And we need a right end, and our offensive line, though, as you guys can tell, is looking pretty putrid at the moment. So there's a left tackle available here in Trey Adams. Let's see what Trey Adams is ultimately looking like. B+ for block power, B+ for pass block, and B for block finesse. He was first in vert jump, which doesn't really matter, but he was second in bench press, which should mean that he's actually pretty good or pretty strong. Alongside Trey Adams, we also see Greg Little here from Ole Miss. Now, his stuff looks a little bit better. B+ for run block, B+ for impact block, B+ for run block power, but his combine stuff is where he shines here. Third in the cone, 20-yard shuttle, he gets third. Bench press, he's first. He's in the top 10 for 4-yard dash, in the top 11 or so for broad jump. His vert jump's kind of trash, but I think the biggest pick for us has to be offensive line. So, Greg Little, welcome to the New York Jets. He's an 81 overall, so they're saying we reached, which I think there's a bug again in the draft here, but we got this guy at an 81 overall here in the first round. I'm ecstatic with this. He's a scheme fit. I'm ecstatic. This should be a money overall pick. Let's look at his ratings really quickly. 92 strength, 86 run block, 76 pass block, 84 run block power. Pass block power is a 82, lead block is a 74. Injuries 96. I mean, this guy is going to be a staple of this offensive line for a really long time. Now, in the previous pick, Raekwon Davis went to the Carolina Panthers, but the Jets were here, #9 overall pick. Who are we about to take? Now here at pick #9, there's a few options in front of me, and I've kind of narrowed it down between N'Keal Harry out of Arizona State and David Stills out of West Virginia. So, big thing for me is I need a red zone guy, and I can see that there's a high vert jump and broad jump here from Harry. Got a B in catch in traffic, B in spectacular catch, and a B in traffic. Again, there's a bug that says that all these guys are undrafted, but you're tired of hearing me say that already. Now, David Stills is a little bit interesting though. He's only at 205, he's a possession guy. He's kind of a 12th overall in terms of 40-yard dash, but he doesn't really blow the doors out in any other category. So I think we're going with N'Keal Harry. I don't know how good he's going to be, but we're going to hope that he's good. Okay, 74 overall, so not the worst thing in the world, but I was hoping he'd be a little bit better. Let's check his ratings really quickly. His speed's not super great. His agility's pretty solid. Spectacular catches an 84, catching traffic's an 85. Deep route 76, medium route 76, and his short route's an 80. Release with an 80 as well. There's potential here. Not my favorite pick in the world, but he could be a good addition to our team in about a season or two. In round number 2 at pick number 5, I have an opportunity to go for an offensive lineman, which a lot of you guys know that I desperately need. So we can get a left guard that could also possibly play right guard here in Ben Powers. He's the highest rated offensive lineman basically on the board left right now. He's going to be in impact block, B- in finesse and pass block, and B- in lead block. Not the greatest, not the best, but look, we need an offensive lineman. I've got to gamble here, and we get a 74 overall player that is a scheme fit. So I'm not mad at that. It's a solid pick, not amazing, but he'll do for now. In terms of his ratings, 82 for strength, run block power 74, pass block 74, run block finesse is an 81, pass block finesse an 82, lead block an 81, impact blocking 84. So I think he's a little bit better than people think, or you might actually initially think. Awareness has to be in tuned a little bit to get his overall higher, but I think he's a good project that we drafted. Now in round number 2, pick 21, there's 2 running backs on the board, and you guys know that I'm a sucker for running backs. I only really like Joe Mixon for right now. The rest of the guys I don't really care about, so I need at least a backup. We can see out of Oklahoma State, we've got Justice Hill. His 40-yard dash time is not super great. Vert is really good. Broad's really good. 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle are amazing. And his bench press is solid. So B+ carrying, B elusiveness, and B- juke move. But Bryce Love is also here. A guy who dominated college football. Look at his 40-yard dash time. Second, first, third, second, and then 19th for bench press. I think the move here, I know we already have a lot of running backs. Offensive line is a bigger need, but I think Bryce Love has to be the move. He's supposed to be an early second rounder. Somehow he fell. And he's an 80 overall with a star? Oh my God. We just got to steal the draft here. Bryce Love, 80 elusive back, receiving is kind of trash, power back's kind of trash, but this dude could be the guy with 92 speed with 92 acceleration and 93 agility. Carrying's high to 87, ball carrier vision's high, trucking and stiff armor all pretty low, but we can focus on those over time. Juke move is an 88 already. Oh my God, we just got the steal of the draft in my opinion. Bryce Love might just be the franchise player we've been meaning to pair Sam Darnold with. In the 3rd round, Garrett Brumfield is here, and I think he might be the move. He is a little bit of a reach. He is kind of, I think, an early 3rd rounder, or an early 4th rounder, excuse me. If you look at his combine stats, they were pretty much blowing everybody out of the doors, but his bench press wasn't the best. So I have to assume his strength not super high, but honestly, I need bodies at offensive line. So we're going to say Garrett Brumfield, 73 overall. Again, not great, but again, I think there's going to be potential here. 80 strength, okay, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. His run block power is literal trash. His run block finesse and pass block finesse are really good. We're going to have to give him a lot of TLC, a lot of just training over the offseason. But his injury's high, his stamina's high, and his toughness is pretty high. He's got pretty good speed too for an offensive lineman. I think this guy will be just fine. Now we are at the end of the 4th round, and I don't have a 5th round pick, and I need to get a backup quarterback, and there's kind of slim pickings for a lot of these guys. So I don't want any chance of these guys vanishing away. The guy I'm going to go for here is Jalen Hurts. His broad jump, 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle, and bench press are all in the top 3. We know he's strong. We know what he can do. He's a project quarterback. He's not going to be great, but I need a backup. So Jalen Hurts, welcome to the New York Jets, and he's a 70 overall, which might have been the biggest reach we've had so far. If we check his ratings, 89 throw power, 77 deep accuracy, medium accuracy is kind of trash. Short is really good though, at 83 overall. Throwing the run's good, play action's good, throwing the pressure's good, break sack is solid. He's a fast quarterback, so I'm hoping we don't need to use him too much, but we could see him in the Wildcat if nothing else. In round number 6, we're basically drafting best player available, and I think that's going to be Tyson Tubbs or Marcus Green. So let's check these guys out really quick. Tyson Tubbs has top 10 in 40-yard dash, 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle, and bench press. We didn't really scout him, so it's risky to say the least. If we look at Marcus Green, this guy has top 10s in 40-yard dash, 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle, and bench press. Now, he's kind of a smaller guy. He's a slot guy. I don't know if I need another slot guy, so I'm going to go ahead and take Tyson Tubbs. It's a little bit of a gamble, but I'm willing to take that risk. 73 overall. Look, he was better than the last pick we had, so Tyson Tubbs, welcome to the squad. Now, whoa, his speed is really high. 92 speed, 80 man coverage. Zone coverage is trash. We'll try to run a lot more man this season. 88 acceleration, 90 agility, press needs some work, tackle needs definitely some work. His jumping's solid. Let me see, high injury, stamina, and toughness. Those are all good things. He's, again, another project player, but I feel pretty good about this pick. And this year we will not have a 7th round draft pick because why? I'm going to go ahead and trade it. Detroit is offering us a 5th rounder next season. That sounds way better than anything I would have snagged here in the 7th round. So Detroit, you have our draft pick. So to recap our draft, here's how it went. I'm actually not really mad because we got two potentially franchise players. One being Greg Little here with our first pick in the first round. Our second pick in the first round, 74 overall, not super fast. Again, we'll work on him, but he's 6'4", so we should be good in the red zone. Ben Powers here, 74 overall at left guard. We got Bryce Love at halfback. Didn't expect him to be there, honestly, but late in the second round, we had to go ahead and take him. 80 overall for him. We got Garrett Brumfield, 73 overall at left guard. Jalen Hurts, our backup quarterback there, to 70 overall. And then Tyson Tubbs, our last pick in the sixth round, 73 overall. So overall, I feel like we drafted fairly well. I only got 2 breakout players, but still, that is a good draft class if you ask me. So we've hit preseason, and here's a look at what our team is going to look like, at least going into the first week of the preseason. Sam Darnold at QB with Jalen Hurts behind him. We got Clive Walford running fullback because we didn't really get a very good fullback. And wide receiver 1, Robbie Anderson. Wide receiver 2 is going to be Quincy Enunwa. We go down here, we got Philip Dorsett. We also have our Darius Stewart. And then we have N'Keal Harry, who needs a little bit more work. At offensive line, we got Greg Little at left tackle, Garrett Brumfield at left guard, Spencer Long at center, Ben Powers at right guard, and Colton Miller at our right tackle spot. And at tight end returning this season is obviously Terrell Pryor. We move over to defense really quickly. We can see in the middle we got Avery Williamson, Darren Lee there as well, David Bass at left outside linebacker, Malden at right outside linebacker, Marcus May at free safety. At strong safety we have Jamal Adams, David Amerson at corner number 2, Leonard Williams at left end, McClendon in the middle. We got Henry Anderson at right end, and Tremaine Johnson as CB number 1. So there's some work to do, maybe some potential trades coming up, but as of right now, I'm happy with this team. And also this season, we're going to make a couple of changes to how we're coaching. So, offensive scheme has went from West Coast run now to the spread, which is an 86 scheme fit. As we move to defensive scheme, we're moving to a 4-6 defense, which is now a 91% scheme fit. Our offensive playbook will be Minnesota, as our defensive playbook will also be Minnesota. So I think these moves will help strengthen overall our play calling and overall how our players fit within the team. Now, because we drafted Bryce Love, I want to give him as much playing time as humanly possible. So we're going to go ahead and trade Joe Mixon and try to get a first rounder from the Broncos. It is projected at the end of the first round, but will they go ahead and do it? They actually accepted that trade. You've got to be kidding me. Leonard Williams is a guy that has been with the team for a long time, but he's just not giving me the production for the amount of money we're paying him. And he's on a 2-year deal, which makes him a friendly contract to trade. So the Cardinals, I want their first round draft pick, but they're not going to give it to me just that easy. To try to make this trade work, we're going to offer up Bashaud Breeland, who's second from the bottom of our depth chart at corner, and our 3rd round pick in next year's draft for their first pick this year and their 7th round pick this year as well. Now, will that work? It absolutely does. And if you're wondering who's going to play at left end now that we traded Leonard Williams, well, I'm going to give Terrell Basham some time to shine. If he's good, we'll keep him there. If he's not, we'll have to make a trade during the season. But I think he'll be a good fit there at left end opposite of Mr. Anderson. So that's the team, that's the offseason, those are all the draft picks we've made. I know a lot of you guys are going to scrutinize it some, but I think honestly we're in a good position to keep this team advancing. So let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of this offseason so far? What moves should I make going into the season? I want to know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.